Hello everyone, we are HeatSwap and we want to be a matchmaking service for heat suppliers and heat users. So heating is expensive. Currently about 25% of Glasgow households are in fuel poverty. At the same time we waste a lot of the heat we produce. Power stations, data centres, manufacturers are pumping heat out into the atmosphere. We think there's a better way of doing things if we can link these heat sources and heat suppliers up in district heating schemes. This leads to lower bills for heat users and new revenue streams for the heat producers. An example of where this is happening is the Glasgow Commonwealth Games Athletes Village. Here, heat that is produced as a byproduct of any electricity generation is piped to the houses to heat them. Sorry. So we want to see more of these schemes happening. Can you go back one? Schemes like this, where they have a purpose-built power plant, lead to an average sort of 18% energy bill savings. We think we can do better where we can tie in places where heat is being generated anyway. So how do we make this happen? We think there's a gap, and currently there's no forum where people who have excess heat supplies can make this known to the sort of people who typically plan district heating schemes like local authorities, housing associations, or energy services companies. So we've provided a solution. We've built a platform which allows people who are interested in participating in district heating schemes, either as suppliers or consumers, to create and let other people know of their heat requirement needs. We've started by using DEC, government information on energy usage, to create a heat map of Glasgow to show where most energy is being used. These are the places where it's most viable to have district heating schemes. And on top of that, we allow people to sign in, tell people about their input details about their energy surpluses or requirements. And when they do that, they appear on the map as icons. And this is a hypothetical example, but here we've got housing association dwellings, and perhaps the energy manager is looking for ways to reduce heating costs for his tenants. So he's entered details about the energy usage of this housing association into the platform. We've also got a distillery, and the energy managers there has realised, well, we've got a lot of excess heat which is just going up our chimney. Perhaps we can make some money out of this. So he's put his details in as well. So users can click on icons and find out about energy uses in their area, and this will also be useful for local authorities on a wider scale.
Okay, so if we go through a couple of slides, and again. So this is the front page of our website. This is where people can find out about us and what we do. Next slide. And once they've found out about the kind of service that we offer, where we match users and providers, they can sign up for our service. They can put information on the map where we can match up providers and users. And this information is crucial because you need to have those two types in close proximity for the system to work. So what we're able to do is to map all of this information and then identify the sites which are most able to have the potential for these kinds of schemes. And then we can take that information on and pass it on to third parties. So we've incorporated a number of data sets, including the DECC energy use data and GHA fuel poverty data, as well as ordnance survey mapping. And these schemes can work towards a number of public targets, including the Council's, Scotland's government's Energy 2020 target, the fuel poverty 2016 reduction target, and also these schemes are shown to provide cost savings of up to 18%, and they often provide a return on investment in 7 years, which means that they are highly economically viable. The main thing is having the organisation. And we envisage this information being used in conjunction with key partners such as those listed, and then we can take it forward and ensure there are more of these schemes in Glasgow. Thanks.
Thank you, Heat Swap.
Okay. If the rest of the team would like to come up.
Hi there. Can I ask, is this show where there's the prospect of being able to put district heating in?
Yes.
Right, so it's not the I'm just trying to work out where it is in terms of the process. So you would then map out where there is availability for excess generation of heat, and then you would then do what with the information?
So basically, these schemes are fairly complicated. The technology is quite simple, but it needs a lot of organization. And so we provide the information on where the schemes could work best, and then we can pass that information on to a third party. So in terms of actually connecting these schemes, we would be working with a partner. For example, say if the council has a housing development scheme that they would want to be part of it, or if a commercial developer would like to have lower heating bills for their service. So we'd be acting as in a way as a consultancy, passing on the data to third parties who can make the best use of it.
Right. And after you've said, for example, you've joined up a distillery to a housing scheme, what happens after that?
So the houses would have cheaper energy bills, and if the factory has excess heat that they would otherwise be wasting, then they could actually derive an income from that. So you'd actually have a full marketplace where the one provider could actually gain an income, whereas the users would actually gain a reduction in bills. So it's like a win-win situation for both parties.
Say something. I was going to say what happens then is a feasibility study takes place, so people with the expertise actually sort of figure out whether it's viable or not.
Yeah, my question's really about the viability or feasibility of locating houses close to these heat generating factories. Or I guess you have a series of typologies of buildings that you've been looking at. Can you
Yeah, I mean, because it can work with a number of different kinds of schemes. So it's not just, say, industrial users. It's also anything that requires a lot of energy. For example, you have a large commercial office block and you want to generate your own power. The thing is, if you have your own self-generation, then you may be generating too much, you may be generating excess, and that would be wasted. So if you could be part of a scheme, then all of that extra you can actually derive an income from by working in partnership with people in your local area. So it's not just heavy industry, it's actually applicable to anything that requires a lot of energy. Any more questions?
Just to explain a little bit, how does the win-win situation work again? So if I'm a heat generator, I'm going to get a revenue stream from that. So how will the consumer or householders benefit?
Well,
the heat generators are producing heat as a byproduct. So, for example, if you're a data center, you're producing heat by performing computations on your computers, and that heat is either wasted or could be simply reused. So it's not that heat producers just produce heat to primarily take income from. It's more of a byproduct.
Thank you, Heat Swap.